welcome to the Record's first Friday football preview. Myself, Danny Klein, and Austin Gregerson, as we'll break down each game and give our predictions each Friday. So I wanted, before we get started, a little shameless plug here. This is our football tab. It's out in stores today, so I encourage you all to go grab a copy. It's got a preview of each team along with our Super 16 and other local copy. So anyway, as we get started this week with today's games, St. Augustine heads to Trinity Christian in our game of the week. Now, St. Augustine has always had a habit of playing very interesting teams in their opener. If you remember, a year ago they played North Gwinnett in Georgia. Ended up losing that game, but kind of goes to show that they like to get the season started off with quality opponents, and this is another one. Now, while Trinity is a Class 2A school, they're always very stocked with talent, a very good team in that district, so it should be a good game for St. Augustine, but one I think that they will win. I think just by sheer numbers and talent and defense, they'll probably have that game, maybe in shape by the third quarter. So
I wouldn't give Trinity that little bit of credit. They are a smaller school, but I think they do have the amount of talent that they can compete with a lot of these, other bigger schools. You see, obviously I'm not comparing them to a Bulls, but you see these other smaller schools that have the kind of football talent to compete. So while I do think St. Augustine will win, I do think it'll be a little bit more of a competitive game than maybe some are anticipating.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And as we move forward, it's at our only in-county game, which is Nease at Bartram Trail. Now, if you go back in time, say 3-4 years ago, this would probably be a very good game. I mean, the two teams are rivals, don't really like each other, and have been very good over the last 5, 6, 7 years or so. But this year, I think they're in very different positions. I mean, Bartram Trail coming off state semifinal appearance, even though they've got a lot of turnover, still very good on offense and have looked so in the preseason. Whereas Nease with Shane Matthews has really kind of been kind of been stumbling around trying to look for a quarterback. They've used all different guys, and offensively, two blowouts, one in the spring and then one in the summer to Providence and Clay, respectively. So I think this one might get ugly, and if I had to guess, I would say a running clock maybe midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to cover the Clay Nease preseason game, and there was just I couldn't really tell what Nease's offensive identity was. I'm not sure they quite knew what they wanted to do, or if Shane Matthews has even had time to really implement that. So we'll see how the program does further down the line. But I think this week against Bartram Trail, it's a hard matchup to really get your bearings straight against. So I think it might be a little rough for Nease.
Yeah, not really a place you want to start with a new coach against, one of the perennially best teams in North Florida, and I think probably headed there again. So anyway, moving on, next game is Ridgeview at Creekside. This is actually one of the more intriguing games in the county if you go based off on what happened last year, where Creekside won 38-33 in a shootout. Kind of set them forward to their first playoff appearance in school history. Now, both teams ended up making the postseason and are kind of very similar. They've got dual threat quarterbacks with Creekside's Adam Sandin and Josh Moore at Ridgeview. So it should be a very good game. I think the Knights will win again, though. I think it's just going to be very close. I expect it to be in the 30s again.
I have no clue because I just got here, and I'll go with Ridgeview.
It's a good reason. Yeah, if you want to guess, I suppose. I think it will be close.
I think I'll have one guess my first week. So.
Yeah, I guess you can't end up looking too bad. Anyway, the next game we have on the schedule is Ponte Vedra at Orange Park. Now, very similar teams. Both like to run the ball. Both are very physical, good defenses. Orange Park, typically very, very good. Last year, Ponte Vedra won the game in a rain, lightning, storm kind of delayed contest. I think it'll be a very similar result. I think Ponte Vedra runs the ball just better. I mean, they've got Cole Mazzin's 27 touchdowns and 1,700 yards coming back. I think he's just going to wear them down. It should be pretty low scoring, but I think the Sharks are off to another 1-0 start.
Yeah, I think Cole Mazzin, with a year of experience and a year of weight training, conditioning, and all that stuff, it's nothing but bad news for whoever he plays that week. So I go with another Ponte Vedra win to start the season off.
Yeah, we had Cole Mazzin here to shoot on our tab cover, and he's
a large man.
Yeah.
He's a very large man. He crushed my hand.
Yeah, I think he measures at 6'1", 230. He's more like a middle linebacker than a running back, but he's also got some sneaky speed, so I think he'll be solid. But anyway, the next game, and I guess our last game since Menendez is actually off this week, is Hilliard at St. Joseph. Now, of course, this is Brandon James, who's a former St. Augustine University of Florida star. It's his first game as coach. And so far, it's not really gone so well for them. They've yet to score, and they've got 2 games in the preseason One was a 32-0 loss to FSDB, and the other was 14-0 to Pearson Taylor. And this is a game they lost last season, so just looking at it on paper, it's probably not going to go too well for Brandon. I think you got to look maybe next year, a couple years down the line, as he starts to get guys in. But they just don't have a lot of players, not a lot of depth, and not a lot of offensive skills. So I think this is going to be a rough year and a game that they'll lose to start the season.
Right. Now, to speak to the whole point about depth, I believe they're hoping for about 25 athletes to show up, and when I was there just a week ago, there's only about 21, 22, so we'll see how they get to their quota. But I mean, it's not like Hilliard's a giant school either. They're only expecting about, in the early, or I should say low 30s. So I'm going to give St. Joe's the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give Brandon James the benefit of the doubt and say that they come away with their first week with a win for the Flashes against the other named Flashes.
Making some friends down at St. Joseph early on.
Yeah, exactly. Brandon James, call me.
Anyway, that wraps up our first week. Make sure to check out The Record. We'll follow us on Twitter. We will be updating live from Bartram Trail at Nice, and I will try to also get scores up as they come in. And so, anyway, thanks again, and we'll see you next week.